Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to Elite Raceway. We are here in round 8 of 12. We've reached the fourth and final race group for this week here in the Hungarian track. And yeah, I already see we have quite a few drivers on the live chat. So let me just make sure sound check, as J Dog likes to say. So just give me a few seconds. Alrighty, so we are good to go. So as we mentioned before, it's been a busy stretch of racing here this week again. Saturday we had our Tier 1 group. Uh, then we had our doubleheader on Monday with Tier 2 and our Gnosis Division 1 group. And yeah, if you've missed any of it, feel free to go back and check out the streams. We did have them live streamed on our YouTube channel, and a little bit of a flavor with our commentators. We had on Saturday J-Dog. We also had on Monday Kyle and Turtle Commander 7, a bunch of fun group. And now today, unfortunately, you're just stuck with me. Alrighty, but anyways, I do see Nate Oxy in the inters. Yep, I did see that Guardian. So I'm guessing he's just going around for a little test. He did mention he wasn't exactly comfortable or confident with this track. So I guess he's just doing a little bit of a taste test. And I also see quite a few other drivers as well. Kyle as well on the live chat. Big hello to you, my friend, as well. But yeah, Hungary race here in the Hungarian track. Track length 4.381 kilometers. That is for us Americans. That is 2.722 miles. We are doing as we always do our short qualifying session, followed by our race of 50%. So that is going to be 35 laps around this track. 14 corners in total. We have, if I'm not mistaken, 8 right-handers and 6 left-handers, I believe, and 2 DRS zones. So plenty of action. Those DRS zones, one on the main straight into turn 1, the second on the short run into turn 2. Prime overtaking spots where we'll most likely be seeing all the passes happening. But yeah, the track, Monaco without the walls, is quite a tricky track. I absolutely hate it. But looks like quite a few drivers share the same sentiment from all the feedback I got, even though they were asking for it. But anyways, Hoven Rally crossing the line, going to put in a 1:16.4, our first driver to cross the line. We do have Nate Oxy also out. Let's see if anybody else is going to cross. We do have Back Marker Racing, Infant Eater putting in a 1:20.1, so still plenty of improvement there. But going to our standings, we do have Nate Oxy leading with a total of 200 points. Followed, I believe, 55 points right behind him. It is our McLaren driver, Armanton Sim, aka Old and Slow. Although, honestly, he should change his Discord name from Old and Slow to Fast and Young. Especially since he had his first race win, I believe, 4 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. And also putting himself up to P2 at the moment with a 118.0. Let's see who else is out. We did have a really, really exciting race last week with this group. I believe first time podium for all 3 drivers who were on it. And interviewed by our media press team, Kyle and Kovacs. Both of them doing a really phenomenal job to get the reactions and emotions from the drivers. So we do appreciate that. And speaking of the podium, yeah, Padron Pass was on, I believe, P3. I believe he finished 3rd on the podium. I could be wrong. My memory on Wednesday, already on the weekday, the middle of the week, is is already failing me. But I do have it on it. Actually, no, he was on the podium 2 weeks ago. It was actually his teammate, F1 Pauly D, who was I was confusing Kick Saubers right there. who's on the podium. But both kick Saubers getting their first podium. And as I was saying, that Pladron pass crossing the line at 120.02 seconds away from Hafrenix. So still room for anything to happen. We do have, I believe, Nate Oxy still in the pits, hasn't yet gone out on the track with a fresh set of softs. And I do see Kovacs mentioning he went from P15 to P6 on Tier 2 this past Monday. I do agree. Big respects to you, my friend. And as we keep an eye on Altron in the Mercedes, regarding the Constructors League, we do have the Mercedes leading with a total of 289 points. Right behind them is the Racing Bulls of, I believe, Leader Liebag, and actually, yeah, it looks like he is actually missing his teammate today, so it's just Leader Liebag defending the fort, and unfortunately has to make sure he really capitalizes on trying to get some points for to not really lose that or have the Mercedes increase that gap right in front of them. But Atron still keeping it quite well, hasn't validated yet. And I do wonder how the weather is going to be. They haven't mentioned anything yet. Usually our weatherman Guardians is on the track. Unfortunately, not here today, having missed out a little bit on from having no internet. Very unlucky. But Atron crossing the line pushes himself right behind Hoven Rowley with a 117.7. Very close from Chevy Wolves, who it does seem like he may be going back into the pits. We'll be keeping an eye. Actually, yeah, it looks like he is deciding whether or not it seems, but and a big welcome back to Tafur as well, who was away on vacation. Did give us a little bit of a notice and is back here for I think his second race in Division 2. So looking forward to see what he does and hopefully has a really good race. So he has already put in his time. Hafrenix actually starting his. We'll take a look at what he's able to do. We do have a few drivers who have yet to put in a time. I do wonder if it's going to be a raining race session. I do I do enjoy it, even though I know the drivers don't. But I always like a little bit of chaos. And funny enough, since I know Mini Tony is listening in, I did pick up a little bit of a nice fun fact of our league records. So the Mercedes team, and this includes reserve drivers as well. Although I think they only needed a reserve driver maybe 2 times, if I'm not mistaken. So anyways, the Mercedes team, the only team to not have a driver retire from the session. So with no DNFs, no retirements. Aston Martin's actually the most. With a total of 6 DNFs, and that includes, of course, with our reserves, not including Mini Tony, who I think only retired once. But yeah, it looks like the Aston Martin seat is looking like a bit of a eject button on a roller coaster. So very unlucky for some other drivers sitting there. So here's hoping Tafur is able to break the spell. It looks like we do have quite a few drivers who have already put in their lap time. Leader Leadbag exiting out the pit. I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to our new driver here today, Jared, reserving the Williams. Hopefully we can actually have him as full-time, possibly in the future. We shall see. And yeah, Mini Tony saying it is the Stroll effect. I do agree with that. But Nate Oxy, having already put in his lap time, puts in a 1:17.0, quite a bit off from Hoban Rallies, who does seem to actually looks like he had just put in his time. I do quite enjoy looking at the live chat with you guys. I will say that you guys give me a bit of a laugh. I am doing them dirty, Kyle. I do agree. Here's hoping I didn't just commentators curse both teams. Well, let's see. R. Manson in Sector 2. Is he going to be able to improve on his time? He is with a 1:17.1, finishing up Sector 1. Looks like he actually backed out of that. May have already had set his time. Does have blinking lights right there for his fuel. Hoban Rally as well. And we do have the Mercedes of Atron going around again. It's such a tricky track, honestly. It's tire wear is a bit of a pain on this track, especially on the left. If I'm not mistaken, the front left tire. Naoxy, Naoxy struck. I'm looking at the live chat. Not really happy with his time. Looking like he said, "All right." And I do agree, Hogan Rowley really stepping up today with a 1:16.4, quite a fast time, 5/10 away from Chevy Wolves. Atron with a purple second sector, and is he going to improve on this final corner, going around nice and smooth? Does have plenty of battery left, doesn't lose any time, and he does improve by 3/10. Unfortunately, not enough to gain any position there. So only 5 minutes left. We do have Nate Oxy going around on an out lap. We'll take a look at him once he's closer to the line. Grand majority of the drivers in the pits, a few on their out lap. Leader Leeback actually up by a second. And it does look like there's actually a Mercedes. Ooh, not exactly sure what happened to Naoxy there. Probably buying some time. But going back to leader Leeback in Sector 2, going a little bit wide right there. Up over a second and a half. That can definitely move him up quite a few positions there. It looks like up ahead, Nate Oxy has started his lap time. So taking a look at still leader Leebag, aka Teabag, as Escargo likes to tell him. But Leebag crossing the line puts himself up to P12 with a 1:19.4. And looking up ahead, Nate Oxy up 5. Actually, no, that might not. That's definitely not right. Actually, no, he hasn't started his, so might be going around again. We do have Infant Eater, who seems to have put in a purple second sector. Has enough battery, gets the deployment, and does improve by 8/10. I will say the McLarens and the Mercedes team, both in the top 10, looking really, really good. Nate Oxy still going around in the final sector. Alrighty, so keeping an eye on Nate Oxy, will he be able to steal that provisional pole from Hoban Rally? Does look like Pauly D has retired in the pits. Looks like he is satisfied with his time, or doesn't have enough time to go out and put another lap. So Nate Oxy up 400s on his time. So still plenty of track to improve. Looks like that was a purple first sector. And Mini Tony mentioning that Pauly D went to go grab some breakfast. I do agree. He did just say he woke up. For those who aren't aware, he is in Australia. He is from Australia, so it is, if I'm not mistaken, 11 in the morning for him. So, ooh, Nate Oxy struggling a little bit there on the exit. And that may have cost him, and it did. So unfortunately, Nate Oxy going to have to settle for third. Up ahead, Hoven Rally seems to be putting his lap as well. We will take a look. I will say, from what I've seen, the driver's doing really well to get out of the way. And ooh, Hoven Rally invalidating, unfortunately, there. But we do have Chevy Wolves. Plenty of time to go around and try crossing the line. Trying to start that lap right on the nick of it. Let's see, looking behind, Autron finishing up sector 2, actually manages to improve by a 10th. The purple second sector. Keeping the car straight, is going to cross the line, puts in a 1:17.1, does improve, but unfortunately not enough. So we do have Chevy Wolves currently in P2 for the starting grid. He only needs less than 5/10 to really get Hoven Rally on that pole. Might be asking for a lap, but you never know. It looks like he does have a bit of traffic right in front of him. Hopefully the driver, if he closes in, doesn't interfere. So Hoven Rally actually improving by a 10th. The driver in front of him having to get out the way. Does quite a close call, I will say. Wow. Alrighty. Ooh, Chevy Wolves going wide, and looks like that is going to be the starting grid. And looks like that may have been Autron. Yeah, looks like that is going to be our starting grid. So head down to a lot of the drivers. You never know how the race is going to go, even if you're starting in the back. And let me just give them a little reminder, not ready. Yeah, looks like we are just waiting for two of the drivers to get back into the garage. There we go. Alrighty, so our starting grid here for round 8, we have Hoven Rally. I believe this might have been his second pole. I'll have to take a look, but anyways, starting right next to him, that is Chevy Wolves from P3 all the way to the end. We have Nate Oxy, R. Manson, Autron, Infant Eater, Pauly D, Halfernix, Padron Pass, Scargo, Leebag, Tafur, Backmarker Racing, Fat Angel, and Jared. So that is our starting grid for the race. Hoven Rally hoping he doesn't bottle the start. Yep, you never know. From what I've seen, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a dry race. I didn't see any drivers. Yeah, there we go. So it is going to be a dry race. It seems. I didn't see any drivers mentioning any rain. And for those who are new to the stream, we do have a couple minutes break to allow drivers enough time to really have a little bit of a rest right before the race after qualifying, and also to tweak anything, their strategies, their fuel. We did see a few drivers under fuel in the other races, so all the drivers have their own strategy calls. But we did see quite a variety of strategies. So, so the other three groups, it's four groups all in total for those who aren't aware. The other three groups, they did have one safety car. So will Division 2 either tie it, not have any, or break the record of possibly two safety cars? We will never know or until it starts. But as I always mention, we do ask the drivers to be extra cautious, especially on the first lap. A reminder that ghosting is disabled. You guys should be professionals. Although we do understand that mistakes happen, of course. But they do have a couple minutes. I will be taking a look at the clock. Give me 1 second. And Candy Dreamer saying pedal to the metal. Let's go. I do. I do agree. I like the energy. I think you are our number one YouTube supporter here, Marky Mark. I should probably not say that. Kyle might get jealous. All right. Anyways, they do have the ready up to get this race started. Will Hoven Rally be able to defend against Chevy Wolves? Will Nate Oxy be able to have a really good start to get the pass done? We did see a few strategy calls. Some opted for the one stoppers in the other race groups. Some opted for the two stoppers. Um, although some of them were actually forced for the safety car. So also something to take account of. Alrighty, so let's get all this information up. And so 5 lights and off they go. And Nate Oxy with a really good start, already getting past Chevy Wolves. Any movement happening in the back. Infant Eater actually moving up 3 positions. We do have the McLaren of R. Manson looking to make a move on the inside. All the drivers giving each other a lot of space. Nice and respectful driving there. And let's see any other movement happening in the back. We do have a Scargo actually dropping down a few positions. And leader Leebag looking to make a move on the inside. Gets the pass done. And up ahead, Nate Oxy actually now having overtaken Hoven Rally. A phenomenal start by Nate Oxy. I do want to see what tires he may have started. So the top 6 drivers having started on the mediums. Only one driver on the hard compounds, and that is original Pauly D. So it is going to be a really, really long race, 35 laps around this track. Drivers have to make sure to give each other space, try not to break that or get drop back from that DRS train. Although we have seen how much dirty air is quite costly on this track. Little mistakes can happen. But they have officially crossed the line for lap 2, and DRS is going to be enabled. So we do have still quite a few drivers who are less than a second behind each other. And Altron actually looking to make a move on the inside of our Manson there in turn 2. Is able to get the pass done. And Pauly D just hanging out right behind. Those hard compounds are going to take a couple of laps to really kick in. Best bet is if there is no safety car, you can take those to, if I'm not mistaken, over 20 laps. So looking again at the position changes, we do have Infant Eater up 3 positions, and Oxy up 2. Jared, our new driver for today, up 3 positions. And we do have our first set of penalties, so that is Fat Angel picking up a 3-second penalty. That does seem to be a yellow flag. That is to Fur. Able to get back onto the track. I do wonder if he picked up any damage. Doesn't look like it. So Nate Oxy is still leading the race, and we do have a bit of movement happening in the back as well. That is leader Leadbag getting past Padron Fast up to P9, and looks like a bit of action happening in the back as well. Jared making a move on Escargo. So Jared making some money moves, already up 4 positions now. So really nice to see how close the grid is, as you can see on the track map. And what happened? He's going a little bit wide. Luckily has no driver right behind him, so still staying close behind Pauly D there. Like I said, he has to make sure he doesn't drop out of that DRS train. It does seem like Nate Oxy actually extending the gap over 1.2 seconds ahead of Hoven Rally now. And that does actually seem like hitting might have wing damage. We'll take a look actually. I don't think or actually let's take a look up ahead. I think that is Pafronix looking to make a move on the outside. Unfortunately not able to yet, and let's see. Oh, I should have remembered that this pit, it doesn't give you the whole view, unfortunately. But that does seem to be like a safety car. I do wonder what happened. That might have actually been a result from Tafur losing his right end plate. So, so Division 2 already tying with the rest of the groups with the 1 safety car. So they will be rounding back up, which is good for Hoven Rally. I do wonder if any of the drivers are going to opt to pit. Still quite early. Might be too early to set for the hards and expect them to go all the way to the end. But if you do a 2-stopper, that is something that we did see quite a few drivers do as well. And honestly, really helping Padron Paz, who had to pit. I might have actually been because of the wing damage. It seems like we do have only 1 driver who is opting to pit. That is Hoven Rally. Going for the hard tires, so curious to see how he's going to be able to manage them. It's going to have to be a mega tire whisperer. And Escargo now picking up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Honestly, he's such an unlucky driver. Alrighty, so they are going to be waiting for the rest of the field to catch up. So let's take a quick look at the position changes. So Nick Oxy up 2 positions, having a phenomenal start, getting past the 2 ahead of him. Right behind him, Infant Eater actually up 4 positions, so a great job by him too within these first opening laps. And then Jared with the most position changes, up 6 positions, doing really good on his first race. Here's hoping he could keep it up and be able to cross the line till the end. So I do think it might be going out around for one more lap. It is a short track. It's quite easy to really catch up. I think Tafur is the furthest away, although he is finishing up sector 2, closing in. Ooh, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe that is our good friend PO2 from Division 1 on the live chat. So, big hello to you. I will say, I think this group tends to jinx me, because this is the 3rd Wednesday in a row where it's pouring outside. And for those who don't know, the first week I got flooded, so here's hoping I don't walk into another puddle going back again. But safety car is in this lap. It looks like we do have all the drivers who have caught up, and backmarker seems like he has left the session, so I will send him another quick invite. So again, we do have Nate Oxy leading the group right now. He is giving the safety car sufficient time to actually go back into the pits before starting off. And looks like he is off and having a really, really good start right there. See any movements in the back, it does seem like Holden Rowley getting past his teammate with those fresh hard compounds. Pauly D possibly looking to make a move on the inside. No, stay right behind him. Oh, a little bit wiggly right there. But it looks like our Manson a little bit slow on the exit, and so Pauly D looking to make a move on the inside, and right behind Hafernix making a move on leader Liebag as well. So 2 pairs right there. It does seem like we do have the Hass of Fat Angel, who does appear to be off the track. I will say there is a section on this track where you do get beached. The car gets stuck on the curb. So if you're listening, and if you do find yourself in that position, so please, just a reminder that you are allowed to reset on track in that case. But of course, do it in a safe manner. But Hogan Rowley picking up a 3-second penalty now, so that is going to hurt him. Looks like he was involved might have been involved in a bit of a incident. He has stayed back in P11 now. We do have DRS enabled, however, Nate Oxy over a second ahead of Infant Eater. happening in the back. We do have your lead bag right on the back of Haffernix. Looks like our closest Delta at the moment is Holden Rowley on the fresh set of hard compounds. I'll try now picking up a 3-second penalty. And Holden Rowley taking a little bit too much curve right there and settling the car a bit. Holden Rowley with a lot of work to do is on the back of Backmarker Racing. And actually looks like Backmarker Racing had actually... He hasn't been able to join back into the session. Let's see. Looks like his whole internet might have gone down, but up ahead, Paulie D making the move, and Altron actually dropping down quite a few positions. Looks like he is missing his left end plate. Not exactly sure what happened there. Looks like Jared and the AI of Backmarker Racing giving a little bit of action. I will say it's quite annoying falling behind an AI. Jared, a little bit of contact it seemed with his teammate there, but Altron struggling a lot with that missing end play. And honestly, this track, especially in Sector 2, it's a track where you don't want to have damage. You really need that wing to turn. And Holden Rowley still stuck behind Jared. And making a move on the inside. Does seem like there was a bit of contact. Not EA giving me the worst helicopter views here, but Holden Rowley now up to 9th. Up ahead, the Alpine of Haffern is closing in on the back of our Manson. Is he going to be able to make a move? No. Our Manson does seem to have the straight line speed there, but Haffern is still tailing right behind our Manson within less than a second. It does seem like the two cars of Altron and Escargo pitting. Here's hoping I actually didn't jinx the Mercedes team. I will say that. Man. So Altron head down. Do hope you don't retire. Seems like up ahead, Chevy Wolves now on the back of the Infinite Eater. Nate actually doing a really good job to extend that gap. 2 seconds now ahead of in the lead. So Nate actually does. Actually, Chevy Wolves does have the DRS and is closing in on the back of Infinite Eater. Not enough to make any move yet. We'll say Paulie D in a really good position, still staying out on the hard tires. We did see how much those tires were wearing off on the other groups, so we'll see if Paulie D is able to capitalize and actually close the gap and really put those tires to use. Speaking of putting the hard tires to use, we do have Holden Rowley on the fresh mediums, sorry, on the fresh hards, trying to make a move on leader lead bag with the 10-lap old mediums. Staying right behind, still not able to do a move yet. Looked to make a move on the inside, opted out. And it seems like Nate actually opting to pit now and get rid of the 10 lap old mediums. It looks like leader Leadback doing the same thing as well, pitting, and we do have Holly D now moving up a few positions with those pit stops, now up to third. And Hafrenix now closing in on the back of our Manson. Is he going to be able to make the move stick? Both of them giving each other enough space. And Hafrenix having the upper hand and able to beat our Manson to the corner. So Hafrenix now up to 6th. Take a look at those position changes. So currently we did have a few drivers who had pit, so these positions are temporary for now. You never know if the safety car might come out. So up ahead we do have our 2 front runners who have yet to pit. And speaking of that, looks like Chevy Wolves reading my mind. Now he's finally getting rid of those mediums. And so Pauly D making the money moves in that green card. Now up to 2nd. Fat Angel now picking up a 3-second penalty. We do have Hafrenix still under pressure by, actually now Hoven Rally. Sorry, our Manson, who is under pressure by Hoven Rally. And looking at the penalties, we do have 3 drivers who are on 3 seconds of penalties. That is Hoven Rally, Tefer, and Autron. Fat Angel was 6 seconds of penalties. So we did see quite a few this whole week. I will say it's not as bad as Qatar, where we saw pretty much every driver pick up a penalty. Anyways, Hoven Rally, 8 lap old hards, trying to look to make a move on our Manson. Does have to be super cautious on the brakes. And is he going to be able to make a move on this next upcoming straight? Our Manson looks like has been pushed out of the DRS from Hafrenix. And so Hoven Rally with the DRS, with a bit of battery, is able to get the move done. And pushes himself up to 4th. He does have Hafrenix now ahead of him with the same strategy as our Manson with 13 lap old mediums. Looks like Hafrenix has a few fans as well. Mr. John Rains, good to have you on the live chat. So Hafrenix still yet to pit. The 3 in front of Hoven Rally still yet to pit. And like we mentioned, the dirty air on this track is a bit of a pain, so drivers do have to be extra cautious when tailing right behind the drivers. And we do have, it seems, Infant Eater, who has opted to now change out of those 13 lap old mediums. Hafrenix still staying out. And so Hoven Rally with the DRS, with the battery, is he going to make a move on the inside? Both drivers giving each other enough space. Hafrenix possibly going for a switchback. And makes the move stick. So Hoven Rally still trying to fight for that position, but Hafrenix really putting the defense. So really good racing from Hafrenix right there. It is quite difficult to really defend on those old tires, but he did a really amazing job. So nice little highlight. And right behind Nate Oxy now on the back of Padron Pass. Looks like we might have a bit of a battle between Tafur and leader Liebig. Oh, so not... Can't exactly say what happened. Oh, Tafur, for a second I thought he was stuck. Yeah, looks like you are clear to go back into the track. There you go, up ahead. Looks like a little bit of action happening with Holman Raleigh. Not exactly sure what happened to him. Does he have any damage? Because he dropped quite a few positions, and he does, missing his right end plate. So 2 incidents happening all at once. I apologize if I wasn't able to get this one. But up ahead, Nate Oxy now going for the overtake on Padron Pass. So a really unfortunate race for Hovind Raleigh, who started in the front, started on pole position, not really having the best race. But let's see, Nate Oxy now under pressure from, actually putting the pressure on Hafrenix. Difficult area, sector 2, to really make an overtake. However, Nate Oxy might be looking to make a move on the inside. No, staying right behind. He does have the kick salver of Padron Pass right behind him. Pauly D still staying out with the 15 lap old hard tires. Not a bad idea. Actually looks like Hafrenix is helping a little bit out. And actually slowing Nate Oxy down. So Pauly D over 9 seconds ahead for a lead. And it does seem like that is yellow flags. That is the Haas of Fat Angel. But staying right up ahead, Nate Oxy having a really good exit. Hafrenix having to defend with those old tires. Is going to get overtaken, and is Padron Pass going to be making the move as well? Looks like he's not close enough to do it yet. So 3 drivers who have yet to pit. That is F1 Pauly D, that is Hafrenix and Backmarker Racing. So 3 drivers. And now Hafrenix actually dropping back quite a bit from Nate Oxy. Again, as you mentioned, those tires, he's definitely feeling it. And he does have Padron Pass right behind him on pressure hard. And now Hovind Raleigh picking up another 3 seconds, so that is 6 seconds in total for him. And it seems like we do have Escargo who is retiring in the pits. Padron Pass, is he going to be able to get the overtake done? And he is he going to be able to keep it? Hafrenix possibly looking for another switchback. That may be his favorite move. But no, it looks like he's going to stop right behind the Padron Pass there. Any movement happening in the back? We did have a few drivers opting to pit. We do have Backmarker going on the fresh new hard compounds. And so Nate Oxy closing the gap. He was over 8 seconds behind Pauly D, now 6 seconds. So I will say that this group doing a really good job on this track. It's such a tricky track, as we mentioned before multiple times. Looks like we do have Hafrenix finally pitting out of those 17 lap old mediums. I'm surprised he was actually able to take them that far. We're gonna have to ask him how much percentage those tires were. My goodness. So it does seem like Nate actually closing the gap from Pauly D, who has still yet to pit. And it does actually appear like Pauly D is running into a lap driver as well. So Tefur right in front of him. I'm pretty sure that is the Aston Martin of Tefur. Yep, it is. So not far. We're not close enough to really interfere yet. And does have fresh mediums compared to Pauly D. But I'm trying to pick up a 3-second penalty, and it does seem like Pauly D now choosing to pit. And as he does that, Nate Oxley going around, getting that lead back. And it does seem like we might have a battle between Chevy Infant Eater and Padron Pass as well. So the kick Sauber, ooh, Chevy Wolf's going a bit wide right there. And so now Infant Eater right on his tail. Padron Pass does have those 16 lap old hard compounds. The Ferrari and Infant Eater with the fresher tires, 7 lap old mediums, Infant Eater 5 lap old hards. So definitely a tire advantage there, but can Padron Pass defend enough? Eater doing really good to save up that battery. Chevy Wolves is going to get the DRS off of Padron Pass. Does have the flap open, does have the battery. Is he close enough to make a move? Ooh, going on the inside, and Padron Pass actually looking for a switchback. Looks like not able to make a stick with those old tires, and Infant Eater actually going for the inside move. Chevy Wolves going a bit wide right there. And so Padron Pass losing 2 positions. Infant Eater now hunting down Chevy Wolves. We're actually dropping back now over a second behind of Infant Eater. But is Infant Eater going to make a move on Chevy Wolves? He is on a better tire advantage here. And the Ferrari actually fitting. So it looks like Chevy Wolves is going to be going for a 2-stopper. Infant Eater now up to 2nd, and Pauly D now moving up positions as well, up to 4th. So the Kick Sauber is doing a really phenomenal job to really hold on positions this week. And so looking back at the penalties, we do have Hoven Rally with 6 seconds, Fat Angel as well 6 seconds, Tefur 3 seconds, and Ultron 9 seconds. And it does seem like the only driver who might lose out a bit is Hoven Rally from Hafrenix. I do feel like Hafrenix is has been having a go at people's penalties, I will say. This would be the second time we see him hunting somebody down with penalties. But looking at the back, it does seem like Hoven Rally is closing in on the back of Arn Manson, who is right on the back of Leadbag as well. And so see, it looks like Nate Oxy is going for the two-stopper. He is in the pits and is going to be switching out of those mediums. And opting for a fresh set of hards. Looks like we do have a majority of the drivers going for the two-stopper. Leader Leadbag in the pits as well. And it does seem like Padron Paz has gotten less than a second behind of his teammate. Although it might look like he's actually dropping back a little bit now. But up behind Hoven Rally on the back of Arn Manson. With Hafernix right behind them as well, hunting them down. And so Hafernix honestly in a really good position. 4-lap-old tires compared to Arn Manson and Hoven Rally. So he could definitely tire whisper them all the way to the end if he... and try getting the overtake done on these two. But as I said, anything could happen. But Hafernix still on the back on Hoven Rally. Is he going to make a move? Oh, Hoven Rally getting super close to the back of Arn Manson. It looks like Hafernix might be looking to capitalize. So we did see Nate Oxy and another driver, or Chevy Wolves, remove those mediums once they were already by lap 10 or 11. So I do wonder how Hoven Rally is going to try taking those tires to the end and making a move on the inside. Arn Manson still defending position. Hoven Rally looking to make a move on the outside, is able to make the move done. So Hafernix just having a little cocktail right behind them watching. He's either playing it super cautiously or patiently. We will see if he's able to go for the move within these last 11 laps. But these three are quite a view, and looks like Padron Paz is going to be pitting. I will say those hard tires are probably very miserable to use, but it does seem like he is going to be dropping down quite a few positions. He might be coming out behind the Ferrari of Chevy Wolves. And right behind Arn Manson, trying to defend from Hafernix, and Autron now pick up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And as that happened, Hafernix making the move on Arn Manson does now have Hoven Rally right in front of him, who does have those 6 seconds of penalties. And so Hafernix, honestly, look, ooh, Hoven Rally now picking up another 3 seconds. So that is 9 seconds in total. And with how close these three have been, he might be dropping down all the way to P7 at the end of this race. Hafernix really putting the battle in, and right behind them are Manson and Chevy Wolves as well battling it out. Chevy does have 7 lap younger tires than Arn Manson, so he is able to make the overtake. Nate Oxy picking up the fastest lap at 120.1. And we do have Happiness closing in on the back of Hoven Rally. Is he going to be able to make a move? Hoven Rally actually braking earlier. And so Happiness up to 4th now. Take a look at the position changes. So Infant Eater and Pauly D up 5 positions. Naoxy recently just pitting, coming out in 3rd. Haffernix up 4 positions and Backmarker up 4 positions as well. Infant Eater now picking up a 3-second penalty. So with how close battles are up in front, those penalties are going to hurt. And as I say that, Jared also picking up a 3-second penalty, joining the penalty party, and it does seem like that is the Alpine of Haffernix! Oh my god! No, Haffernix having a... Oh man, looks like that is a virtual safety car. I don't see the yellow dot coming out. And oh man, Haffernix, no! Oh, that is heartbreaking, honestly, because you were having such a great race. Oh my gosh. That is just very unfortunate, man. And I'm pretty sure he picked up damage as well. Let's take a look. Yeah, he is missing his right end plate. And he is going to be pitting. Oh man, I like how everybody had the same reaction. No, Haffernix, no. Oh no, Tafur not picking up a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual. Oh man, these last laps are just haunting, my goodness. But up ahead we do have Pauly D, who is closing in on the back of Infant Eater. Does have to make the move. We do see that Naoxy is closing in, now less than 3 seconds behind a Pauly. And does have those 4-lap-old hard compounds. So Pauly D does have the DRS, does have the battery, is going to be able to make the move. Infant Eater in a really tough position, especially with that penalty. However, you never know if they can appeal it. Don't know if it may be for some reason that something happened, or maybe a driver pushed him off. You never know. Looks like up behind, we do have Chevy Wolves making the overtake on Hoven Rally. Hoven Rally, honestly, now going to be struggling with those medium tires. He is now under pressure by R. Manson, who is closing in right behind. Oh man, Haffernix, I'm heartbroken for you. Infant Eater going off and might be struggling with those tires. They actually putting the pressure on. And is Naoxy going to be making the move on the inside? He is. However, was that the right move? Infant Eater is going to have the DRS. However, he is on older tires. And it does seem like Infant Eater dropping back a little bit does have the battery to use. However, not close enough or not staying close enough to make any move back on Naoxy. And I will say, Haffernix, you do have the chance to go for the fastest lap. You are starting on the, so you have switched over to the soft tires. I believe the fastest lap is held by Naoxy with 120.1. Haffernix, I believe, put that time on the mediums with the 120.7. Honestly, big respects to these drivers who race no assist. And for those who are new watching, no assist also includes no racing line. So These drivers are honestly just going in blindly, have learned the braking zones, the boards, and honestly doing a phenomenal job from what I've seen. So we do have quite a few deltas to keep an eye on. So Nate obviously closing in on the back of Paulie D. Don't pass now on the back of R. Manson, who is going to get the DRS. Whoa, R. Manson a little bit wiggly there on the exit. And to Furry now picking up a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I do think he might have been going to serve the drive-through or has already served. Ooh, Jesus Christ! Oh my god! Oh, please don't give me a heart attack, my gosh. I don't doing missing the brake a little bit, and the other driver is doing a really good job to avoid that, my god. Oh, my heart's... As I was saying that these drivers were learning all the boards and the brakings. Jesus. Oh man, but anyways, looking up ahead, Nate Oxy, whoa, Nate Oxy now off the track, going right back on it. It is now going to be able to put the pressure on Paulie D. Does have the battery, does have the DRS, not close enough to make any move yet, however, he does have the next upcoming DRS straight. And oh, Nate Oxy a little bit wiggly right there on the exit. So 4 laps remaining, including this one, and it does look like we do have another Delta closing in as well. That is Pass on the fresh mediums. Trying to make the move on our Manson, who does have the DRS of... You could tell I was triggered for a second, my goodness. Does have the DRS on our Manson and gets the overtake done. A little bit of a flashback, thinking it was going to happen again. But Nate Oxy now closing in on the other kick salver. And it does seem like that is a McLaren in Sector 2, I believe. That is our Manson off the track. 16-lap-old hard tires. Might be struggling quite a bit there, but is able to get back onto the track safely. I don't think he did actually have damage. So missing his left end plate. Up ahead, Nate Oxy now right behind Paulie D. Is he going to make the move? He is. So makes the move on the inside, and is Paulie D going to try defending that? Or getting that back? No, looks like he's going to stay right behind. And it does seem like we do have the lapped vehicle of Autron. So that is Nate Oxy's own teammate right in front of him. So Autron going to have to look at his mirrors and get out the way for the 2 leaders. And looks like he is. So, or actually Nate Oxy, not exactly sure what happened right there. Ooh, a little bit. Well, Autron actually going off the track, but not exactly sure what happened to Nate Oxy there, who was off the track, going a little bit wide right there. And so Paulie D remaining over 2 seconds ahead of Nate Oxy. Yeah, I don't think they were close enough to Autron for Autron to really get in their way. It might have just been a mistake from Nate Oxy, but we will take a look afterwards if any information is provided. But only 2 laps remaining, and Nate Oxy still behind Paulie D. Paulie D doing a really keeping it steady, and Nate Oxy a little bit of a wiggle right there on the exit. Does seem like this is going to be our top battle now. Though it does seem like Nate Oxy is eating up that time, putting that effort to really close that gap. So as we mentioned, Nate Oxy is on the better tire advantage at the moment compared to Paulie. And Paulie doing a really good job to still keep Nate right off of the DRS. And is that a yellow flags? That might be... Oh, looks like that is the Williams of Jared who lost the car there on the exit of the final corner. And luckily no car damage as we can see, but going back to the front, I'm starting to see a lot of yellow flags. My goodness. That might actually be the Alpine of Hafrenix in Sector 2, but... But will Pauly D be able to defend against Nate on the final lap? Looks like this is going to be our closest battle. Leader Liebach as well, right behind Backmarker Racing. And our Manson actually closing in on the back of Hafrenix, it seems like. But we will keep an eye on that. And Nate squiggly on the exit there. So Nate has to have a really good exit here, and he does, however. Pauly D using all the battery he has. Nate Oxy as well, trying to get that position. Is he going to be able to make the move on the inside? He does. Pauly D going for the switchback. Manages to get right ahead, and Nate trying to go for the outside. Is Pauly able to defend that position? No, not a corner where I would actually try making a move. And looks like Nate agreeing and choosing to back out there. Pauly D still trying to defend. Both of them on equal battery, and who is going to have the upper hand? Nate going off the track. It looks like that is going to help Pauly D extend that gap, although Nate Oxy's trying to close it. And oh no, Nate really struggling on those final corners there. Pauly D has to make sure that he is able to keep the car straight on this final corner. If I'm not mistaken, this is going to be his first win in ERA, and looks like it is. So Pauly D crossing the line, manages to get P1. Nate Oxy crossing right behind him, and looking at the penalties, I believe Chevy Wolves is... Oh, Chevy Wolves losing the car right there on the final corner. Unfortunately, not able to... Actually loses more time from Infant Eater, and so Infant Eater in the McLaren securing that podium finish. Leader Liebach does have home win rally with 9 seconds ahead of him. Doesn't seem like Leader Liebach is going to be able to get that position, however, still a phenomenal race by him. And looks like we do have Tefer, who had that 10-second penalty, dropping down all the way to P13, breaking the Aston Martin curse of no retirement on that car. And our mega unlucky driver, Hafrenix, who had such a great race, honestly, and just those little mistakes. It's just the little mistakes that really make the difference. And man, just so unfortunate. Hopefully we can see him have a really good race next week in Baku. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Pauly D might actually get driver of the day, and if so, well deserved. Up 6 positions, all the way to first. And like I mentioned, his first win here in ERA. I believe he's been here for 2 seasons. I might be wrong. Well, I'll have to double check. But actually no, looks like it was Padron Paz who got driver of the day. But which I actually don't know. We'll take a look afterwards. But anyways, our podium for round 8 here in Hungary. We do have Pauly D, his first ever win, as I mentioned before, here in ERA. Right behind him, Nate Oxy, who actually picked up the fastest lap of 120.1. So those are extra 2 points for him. And in third, we do have the McLaren of Infant Eater. So those are our 3 podium runners from P4 all the way to the end. We have Chevy Wolves, Padron Paz, Hoven Rally, which a very unfortunate race for him, starting on pole position, dropped down to 6th. Leabag, Backmarker Racing, Hafernix, Armanson, Autron, Jared Tafur, Fat Angel, and our only DNF Escargo. So that is our race results for this week. And honestly, phenomenal racing. A few heart attacks they like to give me, but honestly, a really enjoyable race. 15 drivers on the grid. Amazing job for a first time division this season. So we are looking forward to seeing how much this group grows and how much all the drivers improve. We all know that a lot of these drivers, they are learning the Gnosis environment. They are trying to improve. So honestly, I like this group a lot. Very enjoyable in the chats as well. So looking at the group chat. But yeah, anyways, everybody, thank you for watching, all of our viewers on the live chat. We do appreciate you guys giving us a view, and feel free to like and subscribe. And Mini Tony, I appreciate you enjoying my comms. I'm not, as I always say, I'm not professional, even though you hate hearing me say that, but always try giving everybody something to watch. So yeah, next week we do have my favorite track, Baku. Absolutely looking forward to that, and I hope all the drivers are as well. But we have our first race group on Saturday with our Tier 1 group, and then after that, again, Monday and Wednesday night back here. But yeah, everybody, thank you for watching. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. And if you are ever interested in racing, our Discord link is on the description. So I'll be off playing Marvel Rivals. Everybody have a good night, good evening, good morning, wherever you guys are watching from.